Long before the Spaniards came to the Philippines in 1521, the Filipinos has established trade relations with neighboring lands like China, Java, Borneo, Thailand, and other settlements. Barter was a system of trading commonly practiced throughout the world and adopted by the Philippines. The inconvenience of the barter system led to the adaptation of specific medium of exchange, the cowrie shells. Cowrie produced in gold, jade, quartz, and wood became the most common and acceptable form of money through many centuries. The Philippines is naturally rich in gold. It was used in ancient times for barter rings, personal adornment, jewelry, and the first local form of coinage called pilonquitos. This has a flat base that bore an embossed inscription of the letters MA or M, similar to the Javanese scripts of the 11th century. It is believed that this inscription was the name by which the Philippines was known to Chinese traders during the pre-Hispanic time. Barter rings made from pure gold were hand-fashioned by early Filipinos during the 11th and the 4th century. These were used in trading with the Chinese and other neighbor countries, together with the metal gongs and other ornaments made of gold, silver, or copper. The Spanish era in 1521 to 1897, the cobs or macoquinas of colonial mints were the earliest coin bought in by the galleons from Mexico and other Spanish colonies. These silver coins usually bore a cross on one side and the Spanish royal coat of arms on the other. The Spanish dos mundos were circulated excessively not only in the Philippines, but the world over 1732 to 1772. Treasured for its beauty of design, the coin features two crowned globes representing Spanish rule over the Old and the New World. Hence, the name Two Worlds. It is also known as the Mexican pillar dollar or the columnarians due to the two columns flanking the globes. Due to the shortage of fractional coins, the barillas were struck in the Philippines by order of the Spanish government. These were the first crude copper or bronze coins locally produced in the Philippines. The Filipino term barya, referring to small change, has its origin in barilla. In the earliest part of the 19th century, most of the Spanish colonies in Central and South America revolted and declared independence from Spain. They issued silver coins bearing revolutionary slogans and symbols which reached the Philippines. The Spanish government officials in the island were fearful that the assiduous marking would incite Filipinos to rebellion. Thus, they removed the inscriptions by counter-stamping the coins with the word F7 or YII. Silver coins with the profile of young Alfonso XIII were the last coins minted in Spain. The peso fuertes issued by the country's first bank, the El Blanco Español Filipino de Isabel II, were the first paper money circulated in the Philippines. The Revolutionary period in 1898 to 1899. General Emilio Aguinaldo, the first Philippine president, was vested with the authority to produce currency under the Malolos Constitution of 1898. At the Malolos Arsenal, two types of 2-centavo copper coins were struck. Revolutionary banknotes were printed in denomination of 1, 5, and 10 pesos. These were hand-signed by Pedro Paterno, Mariano Limhap, and Telesforo Quidian. With the surrender of General Aguinaldo to the Americans, the currency were withdrawn from circulation and declared illegal currency. The American period in 1900s to 1941. With the coming of the Americans in 1898, modern banking, currency, and credit system were instituted, making the Philippines one of the most prosperous countries in East Asia. The monetary system for the Philippines was based on gold and pegged the Philippine peso to the American dollar at the ratio of 2:1. The U.S. Congress approved the Coinage Act for the Philippines in 1903. The coin issued under the system bore to the design of Filipino engraver and artist Melesio Figueroa. Coins' denomination of 1/2 centavo to 1 peso were minted. The renaming of El Banco Español Filipino to Bank of the Philippine Island in 1912 paved the way for the use of English from Spanish in all notes coins issued up to 1933. Beginning May 1918, Treasury certificates replaced the silver certificate series and 1 peso note was added. The Japanese occupation in 1942 to 1945, the outbreak of World War II caused serious disturbance in the Philippine monetary system. Two kinds of notes circulated in the country during this period. The Japanese occupation forces issued war notes in big denomination, Provinces or municipalities, on the other hand, issued their own guerrilla notes or resistant currencies, most of which were sanctuated by the Philippine government in exile and partially redeemed after the war. The Philippine Republic. A nation in command of its destiny is the message reflected in the evolution of Philippine money under the Philippine Republic. Having gained independence from the United States, followed by the end of World War II, the country used a currency old treasury certificates overprinted with the word victory. With the establishment of the Central Bank of the Philippines in 1949, the first currencies issued were the English series notes printed by the Thomas de la Rue Incorporation Limited in England, the coins minted at the U.S. Bureau of Mint. The Philippinization of the Republic coins and paper money began in the late 60s and is carried through the present. In the 70s, ang Bagong Lipunan series note were circulated, which were printed at the security printing plant starting 1978. A new wave of change swept through the Philippine coinage system with the flora and fauna coins initially issued in 1983. This series featured national heroes and species of flora and fauna. The new design series of banknote issued in 1985 replaced the ABL series, and 10 years later, a new set of coins and notes were issued carrying the logo of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. As the repository and custodian of the country's numismatic heritage, the Museo ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas collects, studies, and preserves coins, paper notes, medals, artifacts, and monetary items found in the Philippines during the different historical periods. It features a visual narration of the development of the Philippine economy parallel to the evolution of its currency.
The banking system started to form in the islands of the Philippines during the Spanish colonization, when the church set up the procedure where funds can be invested in trading, agriculture, and dowries for brides. The first known banking system that was recorded was during the Spanish colonization called Obras Pias. It is also the first financial group in the Manila, and it started in the 16th century and continued until the first part of the 19th century. It was under the supervision of various religious orders such as the Friars. It was originally made to fund charitable works. Traders drew out Obras Pias as source of funds for the galleon trade, which lasted for about 250 years. Rodriguez Bank was the first Filipino bank to be established in 1830. It was founded by Francisco Rodriguez. It was not a modern bank but a small lending institution. Francisco Rodriguez is a wealthy man until he was wrongly accused of being involved concerning conspiracies spearheaded by 3 Mexican-born Spanish army officers in the islands. After establishing the Rodriguez Bank, these 2 wealthy men also established their banks. Goricho Bank was founded by Damaso Goricho, while Tuazon Bank was founded by Mariano Tuazon. BPI, Bangko Espanyol Felipinas de Isabel II. The oldest bank of the Philippines was established in August 1, 1851. In 1828, King Ferdinand VII of Spain issued an order to set up a government public bank in the Philippines. It was founded by the Governor General in the Philippines in 1850. Governor Antonio de Urbistondo e Iguia named Bangko Espanyol. It was immediately changed to El Banco Espanyol Filipino de Isabel II. It is a tribute to Isabella II, the Queen of Spain and the daughter of King Ferdinand VII. The main office was established in Aduana, currently named as Intramuros. In 1869, the bank was renamed as El Banco Espanyol Filipino after overthrowing Queen Isabella II, and in 1912, it was renamed again to what Filipinos know today as Bank of the Philippine Island. Chartered Banks of India, Australia, and China was a bank established in London and expanded in Manila in 1873. Later followed by the opening of Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corporation. or known as HSBC. In 1876, a privately owned bank, HSBC opened their first establishment in Quintin Paredes Street in Binondo, Manila. Until today, HSBC still functions as a bank which operates Cebu and Davao. Monte de Piedad Savings Bank. Its original name is written in Spanish, Monte de Piedad y Caja de Ahorros. It is the first savings bank in the Philippines, founded by a Franciscan prior and historian, Fray Felix de Huerte. It was publicly opened in Manila on August 9, 1882. It is considered as a bank and a pawn shop. British Orient Bank. Since the mid-19th century, the Oriental Banking Corporation, which first established a branch in China as a British bank, assigned its agent in Manila for foreign exchange and loan business but withdrew from business in 1884. Philippine National Bank. The Philippine National Bank was established in the second phase of the American period in 1916. It was established as a government-owned banking institution along Escolta, Manila. It was made to issue monetary assistance to the Philippines' agriculture and economic development. Lastly, it is the first universal bank in the Philippines. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. A group of Filipinos conceptualized a central bank for the Philippines by 1933. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or most commonly known as BSP, is the Central Bank of the Philippines established in July 3, 1993 after 60 years of being conceptualized. It was established of the pursuant of the provision of Republic Act 7653 or the New Central Bank Act of 1993.